Hey everyone, my name is Denise and welcome back to my channel. So before we get started, I do just want to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my experience going to cosmetology school and why I didn't finish basically. So if you want to hear just some fun facts, some fun things that you learn in cosmetology school, or you just want to listen to a story time, go ahead and keep on watching. So I didn't actually go to a traditional cosmetology school. I went to the cosmetology program at my community college because I talked to my counselor about it in high school, and she actually told me that they're a lot more expensive than community college. And also, if I went to community college, I would also be able to get my associate's degree as well as get my cosmetology license. So I ended up going to the community college, and because you're also getting your associate's degree, you do have to take the prerequisites. And I actually took a lot of those in high school, so I only had one semester of prerequisites to take instead of 4 semesters. My first semester of college, I was taking the prerequisites. So my second semester of college is when I entered the cosmetology program. Because in my first semester of college, our teachers didn't really email us anything. We kind of just got all the information we needed from registration. It told us, what books we needed. I already knew that we needed books, but I didn't know that we needed a bunch of other stuff. So I kind of forgot to go get my books before school started, but I knew you could still get them after school started. So I wasn't in a huge rush about that. But then I ended up checking my email at 11 p.m. the day before school started, and I had gotten an email from the teachers saying that we needed to have our cosmetology kit and our scrubs, which was the uniform we had to wear every day, was black scrubs, and we had to have our books by the first day or they would send us home. So I didn't know that all this stuff we were gonna have to buy from the school, like the cosmetology kit basically. I really thought that we were gonna go into school and then they'd give us a list of things that we needed, and we would basically make our own kits. So I didn't prepare, and I didn't get my books because I didn't think that we would be needing them on the first day anyway. But anyway, but I was so wrong. So I get that email and I'm like, okay, I just have to go pick up everything at the bookstore before school starts, and then I'll go over there. And the schedule for cosmetology school, and this is something that it really sucks, that it's any cosmetology school that you have to go full time. And it's not just like going to school full time during regular college was 4 classes, and you could get those done pretty early and probably still work a full-time job, but you had to take the classes from 8 to 4:30 in the cosmetology program. So I think it was like 2 or 3 days a week. We were there from 8 until 4:30, and we did have a lunch hour, so from 12 to 1 probably. But I mean, that's all we had. And then the other 2 days a week, it would be 9 to 4:30, but we were there full time. So there was no way we could really get a full-time job that paid well. I remember looking for night jobs that paid well, and it was so hard. I mean, the only night jobs available are food, and they don't pay well. So there was just no way that that you were able to get a really good paying job. I guess unless you were a server. That's the only like good paying job you could probably get. And even then it was hard because I actually applied to be a server at one job, and they were so willing to hire me, but the only thing affecting it was my schedule because I got out at 4:30 and they didn't want anybody there later than that. So that really sucked. Okay, so anyway, back to the first day. That day school didn't start till 9, but the bookstore also didn't open until 9. So I went to the bookstore and I got all my stuff. But by the time I was done, it was already the end of the class, and I didn't want to show up for the second, like not show up for the first class and show up for the second class. So I was like, I'm just like not gonna go today, because they literally said like if you don't have your stuff, they're sending you home. So that's why I was like, I'm not gonna show up to the morning class with nothing. And then I just felt weird showing up to the second class because I didn't go to the first class. It made sense. I go to school the second day. I have all my stuff. And I remember I sat next to this girl. We were waiting outside the classroom. I started asking her about the uniforms and if everybody had their stuff. And it turns out that not even everybody had their stuff. Some people really did come in like regular clothes. But I don't know, because even when I went to go get all my stuff, they're like, oh, it's the last one. So everyone else had already picked up their stuff. So maybe they just didn't wear it or didn't bring it. I don't know. And the way the classroom was set up was kind of in a U shape, so it wasn't like a bunch of desks, but it was a few tables coming this way, and there was like 3 girls sitting there, and then there's a few tables connected, like kind of a lot coming this way, and there was 2 girls at this table, and then the next table was this girl, and then me, and then the next table was 2 other girls, and I think there was one more table, and then the other side of the U was like 2 more tables, so it was like 4 more girls. I don't know. I think that's how it was, but I know it was like in a U shape. So there was 2 girls, and then there was me and the girl on the left to me. We'll call her Kat. So like I said, it was Kat and then me, and then there was 2 more girls, and we'll call them Stoner and Cheerleader. And they all just kind of, they became like the mean girls of the classroom, really. Like, I remember I would just hear them talk about everyone because I sat in the middle of them. So if they're saying something to Kat, if Stoner and Cheerleader are saying something to Kat, like I'm right there, I'm right in the middle. Like, I heard everything. And I was like, geez, like these girls are so mean. Like, they're talking about everyone. It didn't matter like if someone did a good job or a bad job. Like, they're just mean. Like, they're just some mean girls. But anyway, before they became mean girls, I used to talk to Kat the most. And our teacher, he started being really mean to me. And I felt like I was really being singled out in like who he was being mean to. Like, I felt like he was only mean to me or meanest to me. I don't know. When it started off, sometimes it was like a joke, but it was like a joke that you were like, was that a joke or was that a diss? Like, I don't know. I can't, because we're not friends like that for you to be joking like that. So, but he was my teacher, so I didn't really know what to say or how to call him out because he was my teacher. And so I really wouldn't say anything. He was like, were any of you guys kind of like the bad kid of your family? And I was like, oh, I kind of was. And he was like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And I was like, okay. And I never felt like I was doing anything bad in that classroom. He never called me out for doing anything bad in that classroom. So I didn't understand why he was like, that wouldn't surprise me. So I was like, okay. And I think because of him, because I was really loud and outgoing, and because of him, I really like quieted down. I really didn't want to talk in that class anymore. So this time, when I asked the question, I was already used to him just like saying mean things to me unnecessarily. This time I just asked a question. I just needed clarification on something. And he answered the question, and at that point I just stopped listening to him because I really wouldn't at that point I just stopped listening to him when he wasn't teaching, because I just didn't want to hear anything negative that he had to say, because sometimes it was for no reason, and it was just like this point. So I stopped listening to him. I'm like staring off, and the girl next to me starts giggling. Kat, she starts giggling, and I'm like, what did he say? And she's like, nothing. And I was like, was it a diss? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, whatever. Like, at that point I was just like, like, because I didn't even hear him, I didn't even care, and I was just over it. I couldn't even believe he was treating me like this. And it got to the point where he would act like this with me, and it just made me like not even want to go to school. I remember, like, even within like the first couple of weeks, we started cutting hair, and the shears that they gave us, or maybe all, yeah, all shears are like this actually. So regular scissors have the thing on top where you can put two fingers, and or wait, you'd use these two fingers, I think. I don't remember what scissors hands used for scissors, or what fingers used for scissors. But he said that with shears you can only use one finger. There's only room for one finger in each thing. He said you have to use your ring finger and your thumb. And the first cut I did with like with my ring finger and my thumb. And then once we're done with the cut, we would have to go show him. He'd look at it and be like, yeah, this is good, or you need to fix this, or whatever. So mine was good. And then I go to do the next cut, and out of habit, I pick up the scissors and I start using my middle finger instead of my ring finger. And he gets so pissed and he says, you're supposed to be using your ring finger. Why can't you follow directions? And I was like, oh my God, because it was a habit. It's not like I was just purposely not listening to you. It's a habit. Like, I can't break a habit in a day. And I mean, that's what I was thinking. I didn't say anything. I just stayed quiet and I just changed my finger and I was like, all right, and kept cutting. But I mean, that's kind of what I had to deal with for most of the time. And then later on, we actually had this it was our hair color project where we all got a doll, and basically we were gonna color their hair however we wanted. And I remember he said he hated the color pink. Like, he hated the color pink. And I think maybe that's why he hated me, because my backpack, it was a bright ass color pink, and it was also the brand pink, Victoria's Secret pink, and it literally said the word pink across it. Maybe that's why he hated me. I don't know. But he hated the color pink, and he was like, and he hated the color black, but for some reason he was like, the only color you guys can't use for this project is pink. So I remember that like being a rule, but I forgot, to be completely honest. And we were all talking about what we were gonna do, and I said that on one part of it I was gonna do a pastel pink, and I was not talking to him. Okay, you guys, I was talking to somebody else. We were all talking, and I think it was during a break time. It was literally not even during class. It was during a break time. We were just sitting there talking, and he yells at me and says, you can't use the color pink. See, you never follow direction. And I was like, okay, my bad. Like, I forgot. And even so, like, okay, that is a stupid rule. That's so stupid, but yes, I did forget. And I honestly think that it wouldn't have mattered, because usually colors aren't even labeled pink, because I actually ended up getting away with using magenta, which is fucking pink basically, but the color on it said magenta, and I was like, fuck it, I'm doing magenta, and I didn't get in trouble. So, but I really think that he didn't have to yell at me like that in front of everyone. It was crazy. And another time, like, I can always see why, like, I see and I saw then why I was in the wrong, but I always felt like he was calling out me more than he was calling out anybody else. Like, so this time, he had always been, he said, you know, like, don't cuss in the classroom, which I understand. I completely understand all of that. And he said, like, the one word I'm not gonna deal with, and he said, if you guys say the F word, like, I'm gonna kick you out of this classroom, hands down. Like, you're getting kicked out. And so it was the day of the color project, so we had all this time to like plan and decide what we were gonna do and get our colors ready and just make sure we had everything we needed. And I remember I was telling the girls around me about this vine. So I was telling Kat and Stoner and Cheerleader about this vine that I had seen of this little boy, and I completely understand where I went wrong. So I was telling them about the Vine, and this little boy is like vining. I don't remember what he's saying, but then his sister's like, "Hey, why do you have my phone?" And he's like, "'Cause F you, that's why." And the Vine ends. And I just say the F word. I said the full F word. And he screams and he's like, "Hey, don't say that in my classroom." Or I don't know if that's what he said, but he basically said like, "Don't say that." But he yelled like I had never heard him yell like that ever again. Before or after that, I never heard him yell like that again. And he was like, and then I think the only reason he didn't kick me out was because of the color project. But he said, "If I ever hear you say that again, I'm kicking you out." And I was like, "All right." And like I really took that punishment, and I was like, I was at fault. I was completely at fault there. I'm not even gonna say that I didn't deserve that. I deserved it all the way. But then, oh, okay, so remember how I said it was in a U? Okay, so his desk was all the way at the front. So it was like it was a U, but then he would like close off the U. It was just his desk. But there was actually one desk in front of his, and only one girl sat there. And she was telling me later on, she was like, I don't, she basically told me, yeah, he doesn't even call me out because I say the F word so much. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, I say it all the time to him, and he just like does. He used to say, hey, like don't say that, but now he just doesn't say anything anymore. And I was like, are you serious? Like, and that like really pissed me off. I don't know if she was trying to make me feel better or what, but I was like, are you serious? Like, I was so pissed because I just got embarrassed and yelled at in front of the class, and you're over here doing the same thing all the time. I did it once, and you're doing it all the time, and he's not even saying anything to you, and you're right in front of his face. Like, I was so pissed. And then a few weeks later, me, Cat, me, Stoner, and Cheerleader were all having a conversation, and Stoner's talking, and Stoner says the F word, like, in the middle of her sentence. And you guys, I was traumatized from being yelled at. I froze up and, like, waited for a response because she said it pretty loud as I did. And I froze up and looked over there, and there was nothing. He said nothing. And I really gave him the benefit of the doubt and was like, maybe he didn't hear her or whatever, but he definitely hears the other girl saying it. And like, I just couldn't understand, like, why did you call me out, like, of everybody? And so with all this, the way he was treating me, I hated going. But because you need a certain amount of hours, like, there's no way for you to make up any hours. So if you miss too many days, then you just fail. You're not gonna, like, you're gonna have to retake that whole class next semester. So I was really trying not to miss so many days. Even though I hated going, I would just drag myself out of bed, and I would go. But then I started noticing people are missing, and they're missing a lot. I think we were only allowed to miss like 3 to 5 days, and people were starting to miss a lot. So I was like, honestly, like, I'm tired. And I just really lost a lot of motivation to go because of how he was treating me, and because I was just seeing other people missing and they're not being dropped. So I was like, honestly, like, I'm over it. And so I would start missing a little bit more and a little bit more. But then, so I think this was the last time he ever called me out or was ever really mean to me, because I finally stood up for myself, you guys. I was pissed, but this was already towards the end. I think it was already like in March, and the semester was about to end in April. So anyway, I had actually gotten into a car accident. Well, I got into a car accident in March, so this probably happened in April. I got into a car accident in March, and one of my friends, well, I only had like one person that I really hung out with. She was offering me a ride. Like, I live 5 minutes away, so she was like, yeah, I'll pick you up, and I'll take you home and stuff. But sometime, and so like, if she wasn't gonna take me, she would at least let me know, because I could also just ride the bus to school. but she was running really late that day. So she picked me up and we ended up being late to school anyway. So we get there late, but she and I just came inside during the break. So we both come in and we sit down and we are both late. It was obvious that we were both late. But he didn't say anything to her. He just says it to me and he's like, "So why were you late?" And I know she didn't talk to him prior because we walked in together. And of course I was gonna be like, well, my ride was late for me, like she was late, so I'm late. And so I just said, car troubles. And I don't remember what he said to me, but I was like, okay, my bad. And he says, yeah, it is your bad. And I was pissed. Like, I was so pissed already because of the way I'd been treated by him, like throughout the whole semester. All his comments, and the comments that I said are only a few of them that I remember. He said a bunch of stuff that I probably didn't listen to, or just forgot about. But at this point I was tired of it and I was like, yeah, that's why I said it. And he just didn't respond to me. And I think after that he really didn't say anything else because I was really like, I'm waiting. After that I was like, I'm waiting for him to say something rude to me again, so because I'm not gonna let myself anymore. After this I'm not letting myself. I'm done. I'm sick of letting him be mean to me. And after that he wasn't mean to me again. He really didn't acknowledge me, but he wasn't mean to me again. So, oh, and then like no one had said anything about me not being there the first day for a long time. Like the second day nobody said anything. No one said anything for a long time. And out of nowhere one day someone was talking about the first day of school, and literally it had nothing to do with anything about me. And he said something about the first day of school and goes, which Denise couldn't be bothered to be here for. And I was like, dang, like I thought we all forgot that I wasn't here the first day of school. I forgot I wasn't here the first day of school, and you still remember this and you had to really bring it up for no reason. Like I said, I had been friends, all four of us, me, Kat, cheerleader, and Soner, had become friends, but I really didn't feel like I fit in. I felt like they all kind of fit in without me, but I was in the middle of them, so I did kind of have to deal with them still. So it was so awkward for me to sit there. And I started to notice, like I said, I heard them talking shit about everyone. But then I started to notice them being like fake with each other. It was just crazy. So Kat, she was like different. Like I don't know how to I don't know if it's like rocker or emo because I never saw her style outside of wearing scrubs. All I ever saw her wearing was scrubs, and all I saw was her hair. And her hair was like this short, and it had layers, so it kind of just like stuck out like this. And it was black. It was dyed black. And then her makeup, she wore like black dark eyeliner and just like really thick mascara, and I think her eyebrows might have been black. I don't know. I remember one day she wasn't there, and I don't remember what we were learning about, but he said something basically about someone who like dressed and acted weird. Like he literally said weird and stuff like that. Like kind of like mean. It wasn't like they were different. This person's different. Like he literally said weird and like mean things. And cheerleader and stoner go like cat like to each other, and I was like, oh my god. And I knew I was the only one that heard that, and I was just like, I can't believe they just said that. Like that's so mean. But I like I don't know, because I knew that they were shit talkers, and I knew that when I wasn't around they were talking shit about me too. So I was like, I'm not really gonna tell you because I know that you're probably out there talking shit about me when I'm not around, so I'm not gonna be out here defending you. And then another time, so cheerleader, she actually had an uncle who owned a salon, and because of that, I think she did have like a lot more knowledge than some of us, because I'm sure her uncle taught her a lot of stuff. Um, and I guess she came off as a know-it-all. I didn't feel that way, because I was like, well, if you actually know the information and you're sharing it with us, like, share your knowledge, because I need it, you know. But I guess her friends didn't feel that way, because one day, our teacher, he was telling us something new, and she asked a question, he answered it, and she goes, oh, I didn't know that. And like I said, it's Kat, it's me, and it's Stoner. And Kat says to Stoner, that's because you think you know everything. And I was like, oh, I was like in the middle, and I was just like, And I think she caught, like, I think I made a facial expression, and I think Kat caught that I heard that shit, and I noticed, and I knew who the fuck she was talking to. So then later on that day, um, she, I like said something, and she goes, and she tells me, it's because you think you know everything. And I already knew that I didn't think that, and I knew I didn't even come off that way. So I just ignored her, and she goes, just kidding, Denise, you don't think you know everything. And I was just like, like, I knew that, and I knew that she was saying that because I heard her talking shit about her friend, and she thought I was gonna go tell her friend, which I wasn't, because I didn't fuck with any of them. I was just like, whatever. But I knew they were fake. They were all fake to each other. I mean, I didn't hear anyone ever say anything about Stoner, but like, I'm sure they did. If they were saying shit about the other two, why is Stoner gonna be the only one not being talked shit about? Like, I doubt it. But so then I remember one day I just kind of got tired of like this whole dynamic of me being just in the middle of them, because I didn't even want to hear them talking shit about other people. It was draining. Like, at first it was just like, oh, I get to know all the gossip, but now I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. I don't want to hear this anymore. And one day, Kat's telling Tona a story, and they're talking, like, I'm right in the middle, and they're just sitting here talking like this. So I'm like, we can switch spots if you want, Kat. And she's like, no. And I was like, no, because you guys are like talking, so if you want, we can switch spots. And I didn't even mean it like weird. I really thought I was saying it just cool. And she's like, no, but I'm talking to you too. And I was like, okay. And I know she's not, because I'm not even fucking listening, and she's not talking to me. She's making fucking eye contact with Stoner. So I'm like, okay. And I was like, all right, but tomorrow, like, I'm gonna sit in that seat, and you're gonna sit in this seat. And she's like, okay. And I knew that if she got there before me, that was not going to be the case. And I don't know why she didn't want to sit next to her friend. I don't know what the fuck. But I made sure to get there early that day and for the rest of that week, so that I would sit on the left side. And the first day she walks in, and she's like, when she sees me sitting there. And I was like, well, I told you I was going to sit here yesterday. And she's like, I know, I'm not mad. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Yes, you are. Like, and it was just so stupid, because it's like, why do you want me sitting in the middle to hear you guys talk shit about everyone? I don't care. So the semester ends, basically, and I mean, that's how it ended. Like, I mean, the teacher wasn't like as mean to me. I think he just like didn't acknowledge me anymore. Like, he really just stopped acknowledging me altogether. And I mean, I think this semester just ended, and I actually didn't go back the next semester. I had to take a break because, like I said, I got into a car accident, so I had to buy a whole new car. And because that, I had to actually get a full-time job, and because I needed a full-time job, I couldn't go to school. Like I said, you can't really have a good job and go to school at the same time, at least in this program. So I had to take a semester off to go to school, but the way it was set up, I couldn't just go back the next semester. I had to take 2 semesters off. So I'm going to work, I buy a car, whatever. I come back for my second semester. So because I had to take 2 semesters off, they were going to be on their 4th semester, and I was going to be on my 2nd semester. So when I came back, Kat was actually in my class, and the girl who sat in front of us, the one who said that she said the F word a bunch of times, we'll call her Blue. I knew Blue was gonna be in my class. I knew she was gonna be there, but I didn't know Kat was gonna be there. So we all knew each other, but like I said, I really didn't mess with Kat. And like after she started being friends with the other two girls, I really didn't mess with her that much after that. But I actually knew one girl from that class, and I knew she was gonna be in that class too. So that's kind of who I was gonna be friends with. But then Blue just kind of just kept talking to me really, and so the girl that I was originally gonna be friends with, well, she in that class, like they were almost all friends, and so they had invited me to lunch a few times, but every single time that they invited me to lunch, I had already had plans. Like I had literally like already called my order, or my boyfriend was coming to have lunch, or just anything, like something was always up. So at some point they just stopped inviting me to lunch, and I was still trying to talk to them like during class, but I always felt like, I don't know, like I just didn't fit in. I felt so weird about them, and I even tried so hard. I tried so hard to like talk to them, but I even feel like they wouldn't even make that much of an effort with me. So I kind of started keeping to myself a lot during second while I was in the second semester. But Blue, she knew me and she still liked me, so she and I were kind of friends. And at this point, we were in the salon and we were actually taking clients. She and I sit in an area where there can only be two people. Like, if you know how if you go to salon, there's like a mirror, and that's where that chair is, and then like a seat next to it. So in that area, there was just like the two, and then behind us there was a whole wall full. So we just sat right there where there was the two. So she and I start to sit together, and oh my gosh, you guys, it was so annoying because we only had one teacher. So in the morning was nails, and in the afternoon we did hair, and we basically only had one teacher, and she would do the demos of everything, like the new haircuts and the new nail stuff that we're gonna be learning. But it really sucked because if we were in the middle of working with a client, we'd have to go ask her for help, but she was one teacher, so that's it. And we were all like, the first day was the first day all of us would be taking clients. Basically, sometimes this would be like our first haircut, this is the first time we've ever done this. And yeah, this was the first time I had ever cut like a live person's hair or ever done anything. And it would be like, so let's say I needed help on a haircut. I'd be like, I'd go to the teacher, she'd come help me, she'd be like, okay, do this, and then come get me. And then you do that first step that she told you to do, and then you'd go get her, and she'd be like, oh, I'll be right there, like I just have to help, whoever. She'd help whoever, and you're just sitting there waiting. You and the client are just sitting there waiting. And yeah, you could talk to them, of course, but like there's only so much to talk about, and they're here for a haircut and they're not even getting their haircut. And it's just like, I remember one lady, like the teacher literally never came back. After I asked her for help, she's like, yeah, I'll be right there. And literally, and we were waiting and waiting and waiting. And the lady was just like, honestly, just do what you think you need to do, and that's fine. And she's like, it's hair, it's gonna grow back. So I just did whatever I thought I needed to do, basically. And literally, the teacher never came back. Never. Like the whole time I finished the client, everything, she was gone, she paid, left, and the teacher never came back. At the end of the day, the teacher never came back. So that was one thing that was annoying too, because we had one teacher to help us out when there was like 16 girls who were doing haircuts or doing whatever, and we all needed help on different things, and we were having to wait forever for help. And oh my gosh, so then at the beginning of the second semester, we still had to go to school from 9 until 4:30 or 8 until 4:30 some days. Oh, they cut one of the classes by 15 minutes, and I think it was the morning class. So instead of going to to lunch at from 12 to 1. We were going 11:45 to 1, and they cut this class by 15 minutes. That's it. And they were saying that they were basically cutting that class to like, so to be full time you have to get 12 credit hours, and I think they're like, yeah, so you're only gonna get 10 because they're making this class shorter, 15 minutes shorter. So they're cutting out 2 credit hours or 1 credit hour or something. I don't remember how much it was. And it didn't, it affected me a little bit, I think, with financial aid, but it affected other people because of their Bridge to Success scholarship. But I had already lost my Bridge to Success scholarship, so it didn't affect me. But in order to keep it, you have to be taking 12 credit hours, you have to be going to school full time. So if these people weren't going to school full time, then they would lose that scholarship, and you cannot get it back. It's either continuous, or once it comes off, it comes off. So then they're like, oh well, everything's fine, it's actually is going to be full time. So everyone's like, oh okay, great. And then at the end of the semester we find out that it actually wasn't. I don't even know what it ended up being actually, but I remember like the second to last day of the semester, everyone's freaking out because they're saying it wasn't full time, and people are going to be losing their scholarships, people are going to be losing, I don't know what else, but people are freaking out. And I couldn't believe it. I was like it was annoying, but it didn't affect me, so I wasn't so angry. But I was like, damn, like I'd be pissed too if they told me everything was fine, and now I'm gonna have to probably take an intercession course because you guys couldn't tell me the correct information from the beginning. Because had it been in the beginning, then these people would have been able to sign up for a class last minute that they would be able to go to. And even then that sucks because we were already going to school 8 to 4:30, and for anyone to have to take like another class on a Saturday or another class after 4:30 in order to be going to school full time, when this was literally the amount of a freaking full-time job. It was crazy. It sucked, honestly. Like I really felt for them. And they don't even teach you like advanced stuff unless someone's requesting something advanced. They really won't even teach it to you. Or like I remember our teacher actually, so one day it was a personal service day, which means that we would be able to do like services on each other. And we really didn't, I think the only thing we can do on a normal day was probably like cut each other's hair. I don't even think we were allowed to do that. Like it was only on a personal service day that we could like dye each other's hair or like give each other manicure. Or no, I think we could give each other manicures. I don't remember. But on this day we got to do each other's hair. My hair, it was colored, but it wasn't even that much color in it. Like literally, this is my natural color, and the color that I had in it, I had gotten when I was originally in school the first semester that I was there, and all that we did was go 2 shades lighter, which was like a chocolate brown. It was still really dark, and we were just saying, all the literal only question we asked her was what level developer we should use. Oh, so me and Blue were gonna I wanted an ombre, and me and Blue go to her, go to the teacher, and we basically asked her like what level developer and what color should we use. And she's like, does it already have color in it? And we said yes, it's just 2 shades lighter. And she said, oh well, you're not going to be able to lighten it. And I was like, I know that you're lying. If I put bleach on my hair right now, I know it's going to lighten. It's not just going to not do anything. Like that's so stupid. And I know that you can put bleach on hair color and it's going to work. Like I was like, why is she saying this to us? Because like, why would she tell us that that's not possible? Because when we're out in the field, if someone comes to us and say, oh, I already have color in my hair, we're supposed to turn them away. Like we're literally supposed to be learning. Like you should be here and be like, oh, you guys, here's a lesson, instead of telling us that that's literally something that we can't do. I was like, whatever. So we go and we bleach it and we color it, and all without her help, because she basically just said you can't do it. And so we ended up doing it, and actually it did come out nice. Um, but then she ended up messing it up later. Maybe I'll have a story to him about the time she messed up my hair. So, but it actually did come out nice that time, and I actually really liked it. And I was just so mad at the teacher for being like, that's not something that's possible when it clearly was. And I was like, how are you gonna tell me that you can't bleach colored hair? Like, how are you really gonna say that? She would basically, like, I felt like if she didn't want to teach it, she would tell us that we couldn't do it. Because another time, okay, so we got clippers as well in our kit, so I knew that we could do boy haircuts, and we were actually learning boy haircuts. But oh my god, the lesson plan for boy haircuts, it was literally how to cut boys hair that was like long hair. Like if a boy literally had like this length of hair, how to cut that and stuff like that. That like I just feel like that's like the rarest thing for them to have like focused us on the most. But and we literally, I don't even think we ever learned to use the clippers on the mannequin head. But I remember I wanted to learn how to do boys haircuts, and so I told my boyfriend to come in for a haircut. And before he even came in, we went to lunch together, and he had me watch a YouTube video on how to cut hair, on how to like do a fade. So I kind of had the gist of it, but I was asking my teacher basically like, what's the closest I can do to like bald, basically, because that's what he wanted. And she was like, oh, well, if that's what you want, you should just go to a barber school instead. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're really telling me? So you're telling me that I can't do a fade? That I got these clippers, then I can't do a fade? And like, I was like, and she didn't even have to say that. She could have been like, well, we can't do bald because technically we can't, because we can't use, I think it's a razor, like a straight, I don't know what it's called, but basically that's the only thing you can't use as a cosmetologist. But yeah, I was like, why are you out here trying to make him go to the barber school? Like, I'm here trying to learn how to do a boy's haircut. Like, I was so bugged by that, because it's not like he was asking for anything that any guy coming in would not ask for. There were a few guys that came in who actually asked for fades. So for her to be like, oh, you should go to a barber school if this is what you want, I was like, what the fuck? And so I ended up actually, I think I just kind of winged it, because this is the shit that she told me. I was so bugged by that. I really couldn't, and I just really couldn't believe her telling us like, that's not possible, or you shouldn't get that done here, or whatever, because she basically just didn't want to teach it. I was so mad. One thing I don't like also is that they don't like focus, I don't know, they focus more on hair and nails, but I wish that you could just focus on what you want to do, because I didn't want to do nails. I was not good at nails. I didn't mess with nails, but I did want to learn about makeup and like skincare, and we learned almost nothing about skincare and makeup. Literally almost nothing. And even about hair, we really didn't learn that much. I mean, all we really learned was if someone came in and wanted something different, we would learn that. But it was like as an individual, you learned that. Like as a class, we really weren't learning that much. Hair wise, nail wise, we kind of did learn. We kind of did learn like a few new things, but even then, it was really difficult, because at the end of the semester we had to have our portfolio done, and it had to be there was certain things that you have to have on there. So we'd have to do perms, highlights, like I don't know, there's just a bunch of stuff that was a requirement that you had to do. But I remember one of the things for nails was a gel overlay, and you guys, we did not learn gel overlays until the last 2 weeks of school. It was the last 2 weeks when we finally learned how to do a gel overlay. And so then we have 2 weeks to all get a gel overlay done on somebody. And then facials as well. We didn't learn those for a really long time. And I remember she did 2 lessons for it, and both of the days that she did the lessons on it, I had clients, and she couldn't even just be like, oh, can this client go to somebody else? Like, no, I literally had to take the clients, and I didn't learn facials like in person. Blue actually recorded them for me, but that was the only reason like I even learned for facials, was because Blue recorded them for me. And then she even like sent them to me all weird, so I didn't even know which order it came in. I literally had to go based off of like the handout that she gave, and I just kind of had to like figure things out as I went along. So I just had my mom come in so I could do a facial on her, so at least if I messed up, it wasn't like on like a real client. And then makeup, oh my gosh, we didn't even learn makeup until almost the end as well. And makeup, oh my gosh, like her, I don't know what she was teaching us, but it was not the style. Like it was not what's on trend right now. The makeup that she taught us was not on trend. And then I actually found out, so one day Blue was supposed to have a friend to come in and she was gonna do a facial on her, and she was gonna do her makeup for her portfolio. And that girl actually brought makeup for Blue to use, but Blue for some reason didn't end up coming into school that day, and she didn't tell her friend. So her friend still came in, and she was just like, oh well, I have this makeup that I brought for her. If you wanna, like, if you could just give it to her, please. And I guess the teacher didn't give the makeup to Blue. Instead, the teacher said it was her makeup and used it to demonstrate the makeup tutorial that she was demonstrating. So I thought that was pretty messed up if that was true. But yeah, we didn't learn like anything that was in style with makeup. I don't even like everything that she said. I was like, I'm not taking anything from this. But still, we didn't even learn that until the end. We didn't learn facials until the end. We didn't learn like the gel overlays until the end. There's so many services that we had to squeeze into the last couple weeks because she just waited so long to teach us, when every single day she was just like, during nail time she could have taught us this stuff, but instead she was just chilling. Like during, like in the morning, we really didn't have a lot of nail clients, so she had time to teach us this because no one was really asking for her help in the morning. But she just didn't do it. So everybody was rushing to get this stuff into their portfolios, or else we were gonna fail. So I passed that semester, but then then when we would be going into third semester, our third semester teacher was actually gonna be our same teacher that was in our first semester. So I guess I didn't clarify. The first semester we had the male teacher. The second semester we had a female teacher. But then when we came back for third semester, we were gonna have the male teacher again. So towards the end of the semester, like literally within the last week, I found out that I was pregnant, and then I found out that we were gonna have the male teacher for our third semester again. And I thought it was just gonna be one day out of the week, so I registered. I came to school for a few days, but then I found out that he was actually going to be the teacher 5 days a week. Oh my god, I didn't even tell you guys what happened with him during second semester. So, okay, so then I remember telling people like the way I was like, I don't think he likes me, and some people were like, why? And I just basically explained like the way he treated me. And I remember one other girl that I had become friends with, she was like, oh, he loves me, like, oh, we'll go talk to him together, like, and we'll see, whatever, right? So then I remember we go in there to talk to him about something that we had already talked. It was something about my hair, and she wanted to ask him a question, and he answered her question about it earlier in the week. So basically we were just going to show him, and we walk into his class, and he looks at us like this, and he goes, literally the whole time, and he goes, what are you doing here? And it's both of us in there. And she was like, oh, I came to show you like what we did to her hair. And he was like, I saw it already. And so I was like, all right, well, like he clearly doesn't want us in here. So I just walked out. I literally didn't even say anything to him, and he was being so weird. So I just walked out. And she goes, he's never acted like that with me before. And so I was like, the only thing it is me. Like, he just hates me. And so after that, I was confirmed, like, he didn't like me. He and he was mean to me, and he was mean to me even then. I didn't even say anything. All I did was walk into his classroom, and he was like, what are you doing here? And so I knew that he didn't usually treat people that way, because when I was in his class during first semester and people would walk in, he would not talk to them like that. So I just knew that it was me. So then I came back third semester, and when I found out he was gonna be there 5 days a week, when I thought it was just one day or like 1 hour, or maybe I thought he was just gonna be the 8 a.m. class. I don't know, but I really didn't think I was gonna have to see him all the time. But when I found out I was gonna have to see him like every single day, and I was pregnant, and I knew I didn't want to deal with that anymore. Like, it didn't make me feel better that like I wasn't friends with really any of the girls. I was kind of a loner, and then on top of that, like, just the way the teacher was going to be treating me, I knew I didn't want to be there. Like, I knew I couldn't be in that type of environment while I was pregnant and be treated that way and be put down all the time while I was also pregnant. So I just dropped the classes, and I actually got really annoyed by Blue, because I had told her basically the reason for me not coming back was because I didn't like the way that I was treated by this teacher, and I didn't want to be around him while I was pregnant. And she told him too. She had no reason to tell him that was the reason for me not coming back. Like, she had no reason to tell him, and she did. And I knew she did, because she was like, he said that he was sorry he made you feel that way. And I was like, bitch, so you fucking told him? I was so mad about that. And then she's actually the one who told everybody I was pregnant. I came to her during like second semester when I found out I was pregnant. I came to her because like I knew she'd had a kid before, and I missed the next day, and the next day she told everyone. And I was like, are you serious? Like, and she didn't say she told everyone, but she was like saying that everyone was asking why I wasn't there, and she was like, oh, well, maybe it's morning sickness. And I was like, well, who asked you directly? So I just stopped talking to her after I stopped going to school, because like I couldn't tell her nothing without her out here telling everyone what I was telling her. Like, I couldn't trust her with the fact that I was pregnant. I told her, like, I literally just found out, but she still felt the need to tell everybody in school. I told her, like, I don't want to go to school because, you know, I don't like the way the teacher treats me. And for some reason she had to tell him. She didn't have to. That was the thing. Like, no, I'm sure he wasn't out here forcing it out of her. I'm sure he wouldn't even ask her. Like, I'm sure she was the last person that came to mind when he was like, this is the person that's gonna know what's going on in Denise's life. I'm sure she just volunteered up this information, and like I just couldn't be friends with her anymore. But yeah, that's why I dropped out of cosmetology school. But once I dropped out, I realized, well, once I was actually there, I realized I don't even want to do this. Like, I like doing hair, and I like, you know, this stuff, but I like doing it on myself. I like to do my own hair, but I'm not trying to do other people's hair. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you got to the end, I'm so grateful. Don't forget to like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. And again, thank you so much for watching.